May 14, 2025. Mahalo for moving our meeting to 10 a.m. and mahalo to the BNF chair as well. I'm your chairperson, Keone Souza. We have Vice Chair John Wahe IV. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Ahuna?
Ew.
Trustee Akaka?
Ew.
Trustee Akina?
Aloha mai kako.
Trustee Alapa? Trustee Galuteria? Chair Kahele?
Present.
Trustee Lindsay? Vice Chair Waihe'e?
Present.
Chair Souza?
Ew. All right, members, we have quorum. Joining the trustees today is Kapo Nui, Kehau Pu'u, along with numerous support staff. I'm going to call on Kehau to introduce our staff here today.
Mahalo, Chair Souza. And our CEO is here and she is making her way in right now.
Oh, nice.
But with us today, either online or in person, is Chief Financial Officer Ramona Hink, Endowment Director Ryan Lee, Interim Corporation Counsel Everett Ota, Interim Senior Legal Counsel Nichi Ozawa, Senior Director of Hawaiian Cultural Affairs Hailama Fardin, IT System Engineer and Administrator Daniel Santos, and Arlene Aguinaldo.
All right, mahalo Kehau. And I do see Stacy. Aloha, Stacy. Welcome back, fresh off the plane.
Kia ora. I'm happy to be back.
Right on. Would you like to say anything before we get started? No? You good?
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
just ready to get to the business.
Right on. This meeting can be viewed via live stream on OHA's website at www.oha.org/livestream. If you'd like to testify on any agenda item during this Zoom meeting, please raise your hand when that item is announced. When called upon, please unmute yourself. You'll be given the ability to turn on your camera during your testimony. Once you're finished, we ask that you mute your microphone. We're recording today's meeting for the sole purpose of producing written minutes, which will become the official record of this meeting. Public testimony should be limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda and will occur prior to any listed item's conclusion or vote. If you begin to address other issues not on today's meeting agenda, the item chair will call you out of order and direct you to limit your testimony to items listed on the agenda. Testifiers' mics will be unmuted when it is your turn to testify. If you're not audible, you'll be muted. The next testifier will be called. Oral testimony online will be limited to 5 minutes. Your mic will be automatically muted once you have completed your oral testimony or if your allotted time for the testimony expires. Please log off after testifying. Otherwise, staff may be forced to remove you. All right. First item, business approval of minutes from the Committee on Investment and Land Management dated April 30th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Also move. Second.
All right. Motion made by Trustee Lindsay, seconded by Trustee Wahe. Can I get a roll call vote, please? Anyone signed up to testify on this item?
No one signed
All
up.
right. Seeing none, can I get a roll call vote?
Trustee Ahuna.
Aye.
Trustee Akaka.
Aye.
Trustee Akina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa. Trustee Galuteria.
Aye.
Chair Kahele.
Aye.
Trustee Lindsay. Vice Chair Wahe'e.
Yes.
Chair Souza.
Aye.
You have 9.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to unfinished business, seeing none. Item number 4, new business. We have a presentation by Richard Pezzulo, Executive Director, Hiʻipaka LLC, Hiʻilei Aloha LLC, Hiʻipaka LLC Annual Report, dated December 31st, 2024. 2024 activity highlights and financials of Hiʻilei Aloha LLC and Hiʻipaka LLC, including Waimea Valley operations. Welcome, Richard. No testifiers on this item, mahalo.
Thank you, Chair, Trustees, Kapuhana. Yep. Oh,
Aloha.
great. Aloha. I'm happy to be here today, back presenting our annual report. I know that you've all received copies of the report, so I'm just going to try and hit some of the highlights. I'm going to start with, got it? Oh, thanks. I'm going to start with Hiʻilei Aloha. Hiʻilei Aloha, not much to report. There's really been no activity for Hiʻilei. I'm actually the COO of Hiʻilei Aloha. And the only thing we really do is file our annual DCCA filing. There was absolutely no financial transactions. The only thing we do use Hiʻilei Aloha for is all of our insurance goes through Hiʻilei Aloha for Hiʻipaka, just to give that layer of protection to OHA. So, next slide. So in 2024, we had over 500,000 visitors. And you can see that, you know, since coming out of COVID, we've steadily increased our numbers. And even our next slide, you can see here that we had out of the 540,000, we had about 125,000 kama'aina and military visitors. And about 84,000 came through the gate. They paid either our discounted admission, our annual pass, or free days. We have a lot of free days now for our kama'aina, especially the ali'i holidays. And then, you know, another 40,000 came in through our special events and different functions. Cultural programming, really important to us. We've been developing a lot more cultural programming, improving what we had, existing programming. And the idea is we're trying to shift the focus away from the waterfall to the cultural significance history of the valley. Of course, we've been branded as a place you can go swim under the waterfall for 50 years, so it's not an easy task. Some of the cultural programming I'll go over, show you some of the results. Kahiko o Kauhali exhibit. We opened this last year. I think Trustee Lindsay, you were there at the opening. And this is a museum type exhibit where we have narration in each of the 7 hale. And we also have artifacts and items that would normally be found in each of the hale on display. We also have staff there to guide our visitors and explain what the hale or the kauhale area is about. We have, in 2024, we had 14 cultural practitioners, artisans. They interact with our guests. Here you can see we had about 282 visitor engagements per day and about 123 visitor completing a takeaway. We actually provide supplies, materials where they can create an item, and total 42,566 demonstrations, takeaways. Next slide. Ka'apuni o Waimea program. This is a program where we ask our visitors to visit 3 cultural sites and learn the value associated with the site. And here you can see, and we actually, they end up getting a Ho'okipa ambassador pin. I have one, you can pass that around. And also a certificate. And the idea is, you know, we're trying to get them more engaged in the cultural, again, the cultural significance of the valley, the history. Daily 87 pins. Next slide. This is a program we started last year, Aha Hula, really successful program. We're seeing a lot of, after Mary Monarch, we've been getting lots of calls from different halau. They want to come back because it's a really good fundraiser for them. And in 2024, we started in May. We had 36 halau perform. And as you can see here, 9 were feature halaus that performed or performing in Mary Monarch. So really popular program. Our visitors really like it. The community really likes it. And we normally have a halau every Saturday, some Wednesdays, and they perform at 11 and then 1 o'clock. Next slide. Financial sustainability, if you go to the next slide. Here you can see our revenue has, again, been steadily increasing since we came out of COVID. We did over $13 million last year. And, you know, profitability has gone down as we came out of COVID. Of course, we've been going through this rebuilding process. Next slide. Admissions accounts for most of our revenue. As you can see here, about $9 million out of that 13.5. Next slide. Our financial reserves. Back in 2022, the Hiʻipaka managers decided we should set up an investment account. And here you can see that our investment, our reserves, our financial reserves and an investment account has been growing. So at the end of 2024, we had almost $15 million. And of course, that's really important because anything could happen in the valley. And I know some of you trustees here remember some of the rock slides and I think at one point the valley was closed for 6 months. We've had flooding. So these funds are available or are there to address any of those emergencies. Next slide. Just to give you an idea, some of the revenue, where it's coming from, our special events revenue. This is our rental lease revenue. This is renting out our venues for weddings, meetings, special events. That's over $1 million. Our food service provider, Kainui Kitchen, they paid us over $500,000 in rental income and commissions. And then our luau, they provided us almost over $800,000 in rental revenue, and another $400,000 in admissions. Next slide. Other major sources of income, of course, the biggest one is the gift shop, almost $1.5 million. Next. Our largest expense, of course, is our salaries, over $5 million. And if we go to the next slide, you see again, we've been rebuilding coming out of COVID, increasing our staffing numbers. So in 2024, we were at 78. Actually, this year, we're about 82. Next slide. Here you can look at some of the expenditures. You can see professional services is one of the biggest. And that's because there's quite a bit of money in there for consultants that are working on our Economic Development Administration grant. It's a $3.7 million grant. I'll talk a little bit about it later, but it's to do a lot of improvements. So we got architects, engineers, management, construction, all working. And a lot of this money will get reimbursed, but it's just going to take a while before we see it coming back in. Next slide. Capital expenditures last year, we spent almost $1 million, over $300,000 in equipment, and another $620,000 in capital improvement projects. This is ongoing, always, maintenance and repair and keeping our equipment up to date is a major task that we're always fighting. Next. Grants. We have about $4.5 million, or at the end of 24, about $4.5 million in active grants. In 2024, we got 346,000 grants that were approved, and we also had another $1 million plus in pending grants. Next slide. And again, the largest grant is the EDA, Economic Development Administration grant. It's $3.7 million. It will help us complete a number of renovations, including expanding the gift shop, expanding the pavilion, expanding the women's restroom, putting in a new men's restroom, and also creating an open air hale in our Pu'akua area, where we'll create an education program. It'll be surrounded, this hale will be surrounded by agroforest, native forest, and other plants. And it will develop an education program around that. Next. We expect to probably start construction early 2025. We've been going through the permitting process for the last 2 years. Our conservation program, we're restoring native forest on our back acreage. In 2024, we planted over 7,000 native trees and plants compared to about 4,000 in 2023. We're also dealing with the CRB, coconut rhinoceros beetle. And here you can see out of the 100, we have a lot of rare palms in Waimea Valley, actually. And here you can see out of the 100 specimens, about 87 were damaged. So, and we actually had to destroy at least 6. But we're working with the city and the state trying to address the problem. And it looks like there's some remediation techniques that are coming out soon that we hope will help us address this. We've also been very fortunate that we have a relationship with the San Diego Zoo, and we were able to send some of our rare palms to them to hold for us. So if they all do get destroyed at some point when they address the CRB issue, hopefully we can bring them back. So, next slide. Our business incubator program. This is a business training program, A&A funded. In 2024, it was our second cohort. We had 16 participants, and as you can see, they are all doing pretty well. We have our third and final cohort going on this year. Next. Our education program. You can see here we had 121 schools, over 4,000 students, and that compares a little bit down compared to the actual number of students in 2023, probably mostly because of busing problems. So our reviews and in-person surveys, here you can see our reviews on Yelp and all the social media rating reviews. They're all above 4. The average is about 4.5. And on the right, visitor satisfaction is over 90%. This is about 2,000 in-person surveys. Next slide. Our outlook for 2025. Of course, like many organizations, we're concerned about the uncertainty, possible recession, tourism downturn. So we're very closely monitoring our spending, our budgets. If we don't need it, we don't buy it. It's got to be must have rather than like or want. We're also identifying different ways we can, save costs, and we'll again increase revenue in areas other than admissions, and then of course increasing our marketing. And so far, we're not seeing an impact. So far, our numbers seem to be holding, and we're paying really close attention to our future bookings. They seem to be strong. We monitor the luau because they're booking 6 months in advance. They seem to be okay. We're not seeing, cancellation. So far, we're hopeful, but we just don't know what the future is going to bring with all the changes, the daily changes that are happening with tariffs and everything else. So, next slide. So our focus is just to continue implementing our strategic plan. This is for 2025, of course. Monitor economic conditions and spending. A lot of staff training and development. We actually created a research and training department this year. So we're actually putting our staff through lots of training and staff development. And we're also going to complete the permitting process this year for the EDA grant. Hopefully, like I said, get that started in early 2025. If we're really lucky, it could start the end of this year, but we think more that it's going to be early next year. So next slide, please. Oh, mahalo nui. So, I really want to acknowledge OHA because I think we forget that it was OHA that actually acquired the valley. And they're the ones who took that move to really get the valley back into the hands of Native Hawaiians. And not only acquire it, but provide that funding early on. And of course, the support we get from the staff. Thank you, Stacy. We really appreciate it. Always get a quick response and very, very helpful with anything we ask for. And of course, our managers, Bob Leonau is here with me today. Our managers, our AHA Hui advisory body. We have a community advisory group that are very active. And of course, all the staff of Waimea Valley. So thank you all. And if you have any questions, I'm glad.
Richard, mahalo nui to you. Trustee Lindsay.
Mahalo, Chair. I just want to again thank you, Richard, for the great, great work that you've done down at the Valley, and just share with my fellow colleagues here as well as those present in our boardroom that in 2012 you were our acting interim CEO, and we tried to get him hired, and he wouldn't accept it. So to keep him, he was offered this lead at Waimea Valley when it was earning zero amount of money. So to see it flourish as it have, I mean, it's just amazing. I'm amazed at what we've done there. So thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you,
Yeah.
trustee. It's all the support, it's a team effort, so really appreciate it.
Thank you. We were there recently. A team of us went down and got to go on the tour and see all the amazing things that you folks have curated. In our conversation, you had mentioned about potentially increasing the footprint. What is the status on that? Is there still a thought to purchase more land?
There is a parcel of land for sale in the front of the valley, and we've made an offer. This is, I think it's probably been about 4 months, maybe longer, and nothing's happening there. And, we would purchase it just because it's part of the valley. Now, there is, at the very front, there's some private property. So this is the parcel that's next to that. So we're waiting to see. Actually, Bob and I were talking this morning. We're thinking maybe we go back and reduce our offer. See if that shakes them up a little bit. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. I think they're just holding out, thinking they're going to get, a lot of money for it, and they're not. It's about 3 acres. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chair Kahele.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. In terms of I guess the visitor counts that come to the valley, do you have any data on what might be Native Hawaiian beneficiaries or some of our OHA beneficiaries?
Unfortunately, I have to say no, but if that's something you would like us to try and track, we certainly can.
What is the cost for admission?
For visitors, it's $25. For Kama'aina military, it's $10. And beneficiaries, if they want to come into the valley and they want to OLI themselves in, no charge.
One of the thoughts, Chair, we're thinking of as we think of Hawaiian Registry Program is if you have the red card, e komo mai.
Yeah, we're
You
happy.
can come in.
Member benefits.
Yeah.
Member benefits, absolutely.
We're happy to do that.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
something we could consider.
Yeah, discount off the gift shop.
Yeah. No, we would be happy to do that. Too.
Great,
Yeah.
fantastic, thank you.
Right on, Richard. Mahalo. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, next item on the agenda. Oh, sorry. Trustee Akaka.
I just want to echo in the mahalo for all the years of service and work that you've put into Waimea Valley. It is incredible when we look at the financials and we hear what you're doing. I think of the last 2 presentations you've done through the years, and I apply that in thinking how can we improve our presentations for various other things that we're doing, from the QR codes that you folks have on the signage there and so forth. And it's incredible. I wanted to ask you regarding the conservation, the group. Are those volunteers? Are those part of your staff that do that?
We have 4 staff, full-time staff,
Mhm.
and we recently bought a forestry mulcher. So they have some pretty heavy-duty equipment up there to help them, but we do bring in a lot of volunteers. And I thought I had a slide on the volunteer program, but I guess maybe I either skipped over it or I missed it, but we have a pretty big volunteer program. And we have special days where we take people up to the back acreage just to help with either removing invasive species, planting. So they're a combination. We have 4 staff and then we use volunteers. 2 times a month, we bring up a group of volunteers.
Mahalo. This is a thought I was thinking of. We've recently spoken of incarceration, and part of that I believe is how do you re-enter into society? How do you remain a part of your community so there's not so much that cultural and familial disconnect, and having that time with your ohana to do meaningful things that contribute to the community as well as with your identity as Kanaka. Maybe it'd be possible for us to have it where Waimea Valley way up with a group or more, where we can have a safe place where kokua can be provided in that way. And I say that because I had shared previously that through the years, I think of what incarceration looks like during and after, and the rehabilitation and support that's needed. And I think of the time of the monarchy where we had those that were incarcerated working on our Alahele Trail, and that's meaningful work. So maybe this is something that we can talk about in the near future.
We actually had a women prisons group come in when we restored Kauhali the first time. That was about 7, 8 years ago. And they would come in once or twice a week. We paid for the gas for the bus because that was an issue, and that was one of the problems, one of the reasons why they couldn't come. And we'd give them lunch, and it was a great program. And what we would do is when they got out of the program, we'd give them an annual pass so they could bring the family, right, and show them what they did. And then a new prison warden took over, and he stopped the program. Wouldn't allow them to come out anymore. So we're open, yeah, very
Mahalo.
open, yeah.
Thank you.
Richard, thank you so much for all you're doing out there. Mahalo nui. Members, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Right on. Motion made by trustee Wahe, seconded by Chair Kahele. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Ahuna,
Aye.
Trustee Akaka,
Aye.
Trustee Akina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa, Trustee Galataria.
Aye.
Chair Kahele, Trustee Lindsay, Vice Chair Wahe,
Yes.
Chair Souza.
Aye.
You have 9.
This meeting is now adjourned. Mahalo. Announcement, 15 minutes till the BNF meeting, 15 minutes.